You're listening to a Frequency Podcast Network production.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Welcome to Monday. My name is Brock.
I'm Dalby.
Yeah, we are back. First show of 2025 in the books here.
Hopefully you guys enjoyed. We had a lot of best of stuff over the holidays, plus the bonus original episode 200 of the BaDPod. If you missed any of that, you have a backlog to catch up on as you go forward into the new year.
Yeah, I mean, hope everyone had a good Christmas, holidays, whatever the hell you were celebrating.
You get out and see some family?
Yeah, I did. I drank so much champagne because I was trying to low it down on the beers because I was like, I don't want to get bloated, so I just drank mimosas for 4 days in a row.
Okay, sure.
I almost became diabetic, I swear. It's a bad move.
Dude, I had the first, and this wasn't a decision I made or anything, I'm just realizing it now. I had the first alcohol-free Christmas period since I was old enough to drink.
That sounds horrible.
Or at least old enough to buy alcohol from the Northwest Territories.
Did you hang out with family over the holidays?
Yeah, my girlfriend's family came down and visited for a while, but they're not really big.
You survived that without booze, eh?
Honestly,
Wow.
You know what I had? And I've been drinking them a lot lately? Virgin Caesars. Because I don't have any rum or vodka in the house, but Costco had a great seal on them big Clamato jugs.
Now, I will say, was there any THC involved over the holidays?
Oh, I had 3 or 4 turn out the light gummies over the holidays.
There we go. There we go.
Sure. Listen, I'm not saying I stayed sober. I just didn't drink.
I was going to say, it sounds like you had a horrible holidays. We all need to numb ourselves to get through the family time. Tis the season.
That's true.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
It is the first episode of what I guess you could say is season 5 of the Brock and Dalby Show.
Oh.
If you wanted to think about us as a television show.
I don't know how I feel.
You don't like that?
Hey, we made it past the Netflix 3-season curse.
Yeah.
We haven't been canceled yet.
We're not a limited series.
Yeah, all right.
I saw something online where someone was like, I refer to my age as seasons now. Season 29 is ending for me. Season 30 starts next week, if you want to put it like that.
Season 30 is a banger. You're in Simpsons territory at that point.
What do you mean? It was only the first 10 seasons that are good. Everybody knows that.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying it's any different. I'm just saying you've gone as long. The first 10 seasons for you were your modeling career. That was a big time.
Yeah, that's when I peaked.
I'm going up on season 42 this year.
Oh, man. I've seen seasons, and then I've seen, there was another meme I saw where someone said their kid called it leveling up.
Leveling up, I have heard before. I do like that. You're hitting level 30.
Yeah, but when you get to level 70, it's you're still playing the game, eh?
Hey, when you hit level 70, you should be pumped to be still playing the game.
Is that more of an accomplishment, I guess?
The only problem is with the video game correlation. When you hit level 70 in a game,
you see how many lives you have left?
You've never been stronger in your entire life than when you hit level 70. As in the real world, when you hit level 70, you got to take a lot of pills.
The energy is very low.
Your stamina bar is at a minimum.
Yeah, the health meter. Yeah.
You're running low on HP on that one.
I want to start saying my age like it's like a Bible reference. You could be Dalby 4115.
Different chapter and verse.
Yeah. Based on the month of the day.
It's like how when you're a kid, you'll say that you're I'm not 10, I'm 10 and a half. You start really taking advantage of those increments in the middle.
Just need to start writing out quotes and be from the book of Brock.
Chapter 29, verse 3. Welcome back.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Alternatives on how to say your age. Someone said I'm a big reader. I like to refer to them as chapters.
Every year is a new chapter, and then even then, because you can have sub-chapters in between. I'm in chapter 41 right now, but I went through that period where I was drinking real heavily. That was chapter 41, sub-chapter 2.
Yeah. I skipped a few chapters at one point.
I don't remember a lot of the early chapters of the book.
I do like the text from someone who said, how on job ads they say we need 5 years experience. You could say I've got 31 years experience.
Yeah. Well, there's also the thing that, like, people who are sort of, they don't like to talk about their age do. That'll be like, oh, I'm 21 with 30 years experience. And you just like, oh, so you're 51. Yeah. You just save on candles every birthday.
My mom's probably going to start using that one. John texted and said score. And, like, when he says that, does he mean... Like, would you be like, I'm 42-0? Is that what he meant?
I think he means score like in the Abraham Lincoln definition of like 4 score and 20
years ago, whatever it is.
Yeah. So it's a score is like a 20-year chunk of time. Although I think I like yours better.
To be like, I'm 42-0, baby.
Yeah. And it's next, but every year is next goal wins.
Is the loss death? Is that what it is?
As soon as the other team scores, the game is over.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Do you remember last year there was that story where in India they were holding a pigeon captive because they thought it was a spy from China?
Oh, that's right. Like the pigeon was found flying around like government areas and they were like, oh, this seems suspicious. So they held it captive prisoner? It's a pigeon.
Yeah. I saw an article last night stating that pigeon has been released after being in detention for 8 months.
The Nelson Mandela of pigeons.
And the reason why they took him in is, like you said, he was flying around like government areas and they had found like basically little notes on his legs that had like Chinese writing on it.
Oh, that's right. Which, to be fair, would feel very suspicious.
Now, they do say that over the past 8 months, they did interrogate the pigeon to determine if he was a spy or not.
How?
And that's, dude, I have no... How the hell do you interrogate a pigeon?
What do you got, the pigeon like chained to the desk? Little shackle around its tiny little ankle?
Yeah.
You're playing good cop, bad cop?
Can you waterboard a pigeon?
One cop comes in and is like, hey, man, listen, my partner's a little unhinged. Here, have a little seed.
Yeah, he's like dropping breadcrumbs out for him.
Everything's going to be okay. You just got to cooperate with us and I can protect you.
Yeah. It turned out it was just one of those like racing pigeons is what it was at the end.
Oh, right. Which, like, those things go for like millions of dollars.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
And so I don't even know how they like tracked any of this down, but I just love the idea of like one guy shining a light in a pigeon's face.
Going full Batman. Where's the detonator?
Yeah, where is she?
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
God bless our troops. God bless America. And gentlemen, start your engine!
I would love to see Kevin James at a pigeon race.
But wait, there's no engines, right? So it'd be like, gentlemen, flap your wings!
We were talking about that pigeon story and the amount of people that were texting in that have not heard about pigeon racing before.
Honestly, it is a big money event.
People gamble on it like crazy. People spend tons of money on the birds, too.
A pigeon racing bird that wasn't even like champion material sold a couple years ago. I remember the story. It was like $2 to $4 million to buy a pigeon. Is crazy money.
You could make what's that like Sandra Bullock movie where she helps out that kid and gets him into college football?
The Blindside?
Yeah, you could like blindside your own pigeon. Just go to the park and scout one out.
Find a bird that is just currently sitting on a statue, lure it to your house with breadcrumbs and teach it how to race.
Yeah.
That's a Disney movie waiting to happen, brother.
If you could race any animal, any sort of group of animals, which animals would you want to see in a race? Because pigeon racing is huge.
I honestly think maybe it's for the irony factor, but sloth racing feels like it would be pretty sick.
Sloth racing, yeah.
Putting a bunch of sloths in their own lanes and just seeing, it's kind of like when you see people race their babies at the mall, and sometimes they crawl fast, sometimes they just lay down and take a nap.
Yeah.
It adds to the thrill of like, will this sloth move or not?
Hamster or guinea pig races could be pretty sick. Like, you ever see one of those things go nuts in the wheel, right?
Yeah.
Or the tubes, like the tubes that they have.
Have them navigate the maze in the tubes would be cool, but I think if I'm watching hamster racing, I want to see them in the big gladiator style balls and have them just like crashing into each other.
Yeah.
Slamming in full contact hamster racing. I come out of degenerate gambling retirement for
It's
that.
real life Rocket League is what it is.
Basically, honestly, that's what it is.
Someone just texted in penguins. I mean, you could have a marathon, I guess. You know when they all like do their March of the Penguins?
Yeah, I guess. Honestly, if you just filmed penguins when they do their big mass migration, and you could just pick one and get some like ESPN next gen stats on which one was winning.
Dude, throw it on Bet365. I guarantee you global warming chills out a little bit.
Absolutely. We got to take care of the penguins. Actually, you know what I'm just thinking about? Over the holidays, I did subscribe to a new YouTube channel. I forgot about this.
Yeah.
It's called League of Pigs, and it's literally a dude that owns 6 pigs
Hog
and
races?
acreage. He's built them little race courses, and he's doing, I believe, monthly videos of the pigs racing.
How do you get them started? Just smack their ass?
They all start behind the line, and then they just go.
I love it.
And run to the feeder. And, buddy, I was riveted watching it.
Dude, I'd watch hog races any day.
Piggy Smalls is my guy, I'm not going to lie.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Man in Hamilton last week attempted to rob a bank. He went inside a BMO, left his bike outside the building, walked in
I love
there.
the bike is the getaway vehicle.
Keep the bike in mind
Okay.
here. So he passed a note to the bank teller demanding cash and apparently was verbally threatening them while he was waving around a weapon, they say.
Okay.
Well, the employees were not scared of the man. They said that they had contacted the authorities. And so he immediately went to flee the scene, but someone stole his bike.
No. That's karmic justice, and it's absolute fun. Imagine, because, I mean, you've had a bike stolen before. Right?
Yeah.
We've all had a bike stolen. You go outside, you look for your bike, you can't believe it's gone. But I've never had a bike stolen in a moment where I needed it more than I've ever needed it in my life.
I would love to know if he had stolen that bike from someone else.
Oh, that would actually be even to the next level of like, this is magical.
Yeah.
This is brilliant.
That's got to be like a turning point in your life, right?
Yeah.
That's one of those moments in the movie where you're like, and at that moment I knew I was going down the wrong path.
And like 99% of the time, if you steal bikes, you suck. You're a bad person. But in this one specific case, someone out there is riding around on a stolen bicycle that has no idea they brought a criminal to justice.
The Hamilton Batman, if you will.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
I have something I'd like to bring up with you. We talk about the quiz all the time in a fairly negative light. Like, I do very bad at it. It's something I'm not very good at. But I crunched some numbers over the holidays when we did the best of the quiz for the podcast. I got a B- on the quiz last year.
I think it was the best year of the quiz. If I'm not mistaken, 4 perfect quizzes last year.
4 perfect quizzes, 155 right answers out of 209 questions. But still, even with that, 32 shame bells.
32 shame
I
bells.
counted every shame bell, including when you would shame bell me more than once on the same quiz. 30 of those shame bells were for me. You shame-belled yourself once for forgetting the thong song in the song quizzes, and you shame-belled the audience once. I can't remember why.
I'm surprised I only did it once for them.
30 shame-bells for me. I got a B-. I feel like those numbers don't match up.
Not in my household.
You know those BuzzFeed quizzes that are so much fun? Yeah, that's not what this is. It's the quiz with Brock and Dalby.
All right, it's time for the first quiz of the year. And you said you got, 32 shame bells from me last year?
32 shame. I got 30. You gave yourself one, and you gave the audience one.
Well, I think in honor of that, today's theme for the quiz is going to be songs with a bell in them.
Okay.
And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to play you the bell from a song.
Oh, boy.
And you just have to give me the band. I won't make you give me the song at least.
Okay.
But you got to at least give me the band, okay?
Can I give you one or the other? Like, if I know the song and not the band, can that still count?
Sure, we can make that work. Bonus points if you can do both, all right?
Oh, okay.
All right. And we will start off with an easy one here.
That's Hell's Bells, right? Okay.
Yes. That one is Hell's
You're
Bells.
not allowed to make me sweat like that. That's unfair.
The second one is...
That's Metallica. For Whom the Bell Tolls.
It is.
Yeah.
All right, two for two there. Look at you.
Oh, boy. Those are so similar.
I know. I was hoping you'd mix them up. All right, to go 3 for 3 here.
Is that School's Out? Alice Cooper?
Yeah, it is. Look at you. 3 for 3 here.
I think I was a little on the fence so that you could kind of hear kids. I was like, whoa!
All right.
Okay.
Next one here.
Ooh, What a Night, April Wine.
Oh, look at you.
Listen, you don't work in Canadian radio as long as I have without knowing that bell off by heart.
4 for 4 on the quiz here this morning.
Woo!
All right, let's keep it going here.
Is that Ice Cream Man?
Oh.
No.
It's the only song about bikes. Bicycle Race Queen.
Oh, fair enough.
Not getting that bell.
You're not shame-belling me for not knowing the bike bell.
You don't know one of the greatest songs of all time about
I know
bikes?
the song.
Apparently not.
That's harsh.
All right, and wrapping up with this one here. Oh, you know the riff.
Mississippi Queen.
Mississippi Queen is correct there.
That's right.
Not a perfect quiz, but well done on the first one here.
I can't believe I didn't get the bicycle one, and I can't believe I thought it was Ice Cream Man.
So, are you marking down all these shame bells? Because you can add 2 shame bells.
What's the second one for?
Just to remind you that you got a 1 already.
It's ridiculous.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Very exciting Christmas for the Dalbys. I got a new computer, a used computer from my uncle, who apparently has a neighbor who builds computers as a hobby and then gives them away, but is also kind of having memory problems. So he gives my uncle a new computer about every 6 months.
Okay.
Because he forgets that he's done it. So I got this new computer. I'm like, what am I going to do with it? I set it up. My kids now have their very first computer.
Does that mean anything, though? Because they've had iPads and stuff for, ever, right?
They have, but I mean, they have iPads with, kids' profiles and stuff like that. A lot of stuff locked down. I think there's a certain rite of passage, even still, to having that first family room computer.
So it's a family computer.
Oh, I absolutely was not going to let any of them set it up in their rooms.
Oh, my God. I gave my family computer so many viruses from LimeWire back in the day. Downloading Blink-182_Sum41_Offspring song.
Just so many attempts to find that new hit song you really wanted to listen to and ended up getting somebody's bad Bill Clinton impression.
Oh, yeah. I did not have sex with that woman, but I did, in fact, get speakers for low prices. Yeah.
I'm honestly, I'm kind of curious as to what the modern equivalent of that is now, because there are so many more protections. Like these Windows computers, they come with virus software baked into it now, whereas our parents didn't know how to protect it from us.
Well, and that's the thing. That's why I said, do you think it's really that big of a deal for them? Because they've had the internet, at their hands pretty much their entire lives now, versus, when we had that family computer, we had, dedicated times when me and my sister could use it. There was arguments on who could use the computer all the time.
Oh, yeah.
And honestly, I think kids today got it better than we had it with the family computer.
In what way?
Well, if you're a teenage boy,
yeah,
the family computer sucked. I don't know how it was set up at your house. My back was turned to the audience.
Yeah.
So if I ever wanted to go down browsing,
if you had the sort of the living room and then a hallway to where the bedrooms were, there was a corner where those two things met, and that's where my parents put the family computer. So either you had the blind spot if everybody was down in the bedrooms, you didn't know when someone was coming down the hallway.
I'm sitting like Abraham Lincoln in the booth at that play.
Or you got your parents sitting behind you on the couch watching TV, and you're like, okay, if I shift my left shoulder high enough, I don't think they can see the monitor as I download more of this video I'm trying to watch.
Kids today will never know the fear of not knowing how to clear the browser history.
Although now you've got me thinking, how many times has my son been, I'm going to take my tablet up to my room, and for now that's probably harmless. But I feel like I only got a couple more years before I know exactly what that means.
You got a couple more years until those fingerprints on the screen get even greasier than they already are, brother.
God.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Apparently, there are some experts in Canada that are asking that we start putting warning labels on our alcohol, warning about cancer risks, similar to what they have with like cigarettes on there.
I didn't realize there was a cancer risk with alcohol.
I just feel like if you're going to start doing that, you got to start putting warning risks on everything.
Pretty much. I mean, at this point, we do kind of live in a society that warrants warning labels on a lot of things, but is it a fairly small risk, or is this something that we should all know more about?
I feel like you could find any product on any shelf anywhere. You could Google it and it probably gives you cancer.
Well, and the thing with alcohol, too, that's so confusing is, doesn't it feel like about every 3 or 4 months it switches between you should have some alcohol in your life because it's good for you to you should never drink a drop of alcohol? Like, wasn't it? We were all supposed to drink red wine for our heart health, and then if you ever drink red wine, you're probably jeopardizing your entire bloodline.
It would be funny instead of having like a Barb tar box like on the cigarettes, they have like someone's deadbeat dad who like never came back home.
Just some aggressive looking drunk outside a beer store.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
All right, we're bringing back an oldie but a goodie. It's time to play Tool Time here this morning.
Winner gets $100 in Lotto Max tickets. Tomorrow night's jackpot, $30 million.
All right, let's start with caller number 1 here. Hey, good morning. Who's this?
Melissa.
Melissa, how you doing?
Good, you?
Good. Are you ready to play Tool Time?
Sure.
All right, this is what we need from you. A little jackhammer action. Whenever you're ready, Melissa, take it away.
Okay.
It kind of had a little bit of jackhammer, but also a little bit of like boat motor in a shallow pond.
Kinda, yeah. It felt wet. Yeah,
a little bit.
It felt wet. All right, stay on hold there, Melissa.
Jackhammering in a bong.
Yeah. Caller number 2, what's your name? Cindy, how you doing?
Not too bad.
Are you ready to play?
Okay.
All right, we need your jackhammer whenever you're ready, Cindy. Never disappoint. You never disappointed, Cindy. Great job. We'll keep you on hold, okay?
Okay.
It sounded like one of those like pavement levelers. You know what I mean? Like it's the same general idea, just not maybe as quick.
All right, caller number 3. What's your name?
This is Rachel.
Rachel, are you ready to play Tool Time?
Sure.
You are in the sweet spot here. What do you think of the competition of your fellow jackhammers this morning?
Oh, no, they sound pretty good.
All right, well, let's see what you got here.
I think someone's phone is on vibrate.
Yeah. All right, we'll keep you on hold. I make no promises, though. All right, let's weigh out our options here. Melissa on line 1, Cindy on line 2, and I forget
Rachel
on line 3.
And I'll say this, and I'm not trying to be mean, but Rachel's was basically the same idea as Melissa's, not executed as well. This is a 2-horse race.
Cindy never disappoints, though.
Cindy had the super slow jackhammer. Melissa had more of a jackhammer tempo, but again, it was wet.
So we're going to give it to our girl, Sydney?
Are we doing it?
I don't think there's been a time that she's called in and she has not won. Sydney, are you still there?
Yes.
Congratulations, you get a ding, a round of applause, and that $100 Lotto Max ticket because you are today's Tool Time winner, all right?
What a way to start the new year.
Hell yeah, Cindy.
Cindy, if you happen to win tomorrow night, you got some nickels and dimes for the fellas over here?
Most definitely.
Love to hear it.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
If you haven't felt attacked lately, this is a good opportunity to let you know that the year 2000 was officially 25 years ago.
That is correct.
We turned the millennium 25 years ago, and a story has come out of a dude named Dylan Schrader, who took to X, the social media site formerly known as Twitter, to reveal that back in the year 2000, he put together a time capsule, and he wanted to open it up to celebrate 25 years. I guess Crayola, like the crayon people, were selling these time capsules in the year 2000 in the shape of a big silver crayon that you could seal up and bury or put away or whatever.
I wonder how many people put like floppy disks in there and nobody knows how to use them, digging them up now.
The first thing he pulls out is a cassette tape, like audio tape, that he said he had to really scrounge to find somewhere to play it.
Yeah.
it was him reading a Calvin and Hobbes comic strip and then a song by Alanis Morissette.
Sounds totally worth time capsule, yeah.
And then a 3.5-inch floppy disk that he is still unsure of the contents of because he has no means to put it into his computer. It does not fit anywhere. He doesn't know anyone that has a drive that he can check this thing on.
Yeah.
Who knows what it contains?
I remember we did time capsules in like the 6th grade, and I feel like I probably put nothing cool in there.
I feel like that's the thing, is like time capsule really is a thing that would maybe be cool if you did it as like in your 20s or your 30s.
If you're rich, honestly, a time capsule is worth it.
Right, like you'd be old enough to actually buy things to put in there that are meaningful, but we always give them to kids. Like he said he did it as a school project in public school. So there's like HIV literature in there and like don't do drugs pamphlets, like stuff he got from the office at the school.
Yeah.
There's some religious literature in there, which again, he's like, we weren't a religious family. It was just in the school guidance counselor's office, so I put it in there.
If I had done one in the year 2000, I would have been 5 years old. I probably would have just like, I would have just had like my little Fisher-Price phone that had wheels on it.
Right.
Crayons, maybe like a teddy bear. Like,
see, like I'm thinking back to 25 years ago for me, so year 2000, I was in like grade 11. So I probably would have had some like Nintendo 64, like a Nintendo 64 game I could have put in there. I would have had maybe some comic books that I was reading at the time.
I feel like if you're making a time capsule, you got to have a little fun with it. Like you got to put like a map of like where the treasure, like where the bodies are hidden.
To screw with people in the future world.
That's what you got to do. Yeah.
That does make a lot more sense. The idea of setting yourself up to mess with the future, like putting in diagrams of like, oh, these are the cars we used to drive, and just drawing the most absurd, ridiculous thing. Or animals. Oh, this is what we used to keep as pets, and it's a picture of like a polar bear or something.
Yeah.
So that 25, 50 years later, people open it up and go, man, our textbooks are wrong about everything.
Pee in a bottle and say it's the serum to like all health or something, you know? And see if someone drinks it.
Right to peeing in a bottle, eh? That's your time capsule? That's what we're leaving for the future?
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Got a text in here at 762-555 from Justice saying, you got to imagine there was a lot of people that put like Pokemon cards back in the day when they were a kid that are probably worth like thousands of bucks now, which is probably true, but I don't know. I feel like if you made a time capsule for 2025 to open, say, in 2050, is there a lot of material things that are actually going to be worth something one day? Everything's all digital now.
That's the thing. Like, I'm thinking about it. I'm like, would you put like an NFT or like a USB drive with like a crypto wallet on there?
Just a bunch of Bitcoin on a USB.
And then hope in 2050, someone has the means. What if they don't use USBs by then?
Just like a prepaid OnlyFans account to look at. Like,
which again could pay off huge. Or they're like, what in the hell was an OnlyFans?
Yeah.
Have no idea. Or just throw in something that the future can really appreciate, like a jewel. Like a vape.
Oh, like a vape or something?
The way things are going, those are all going to be banned.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you still got Zins or something like that before they like officially go extinct.
It's a degenerate time capsule. It's got a vape, a pack of darts, unfiltered, and some flavored Zins. And you're just like, I don't know who's going to find this in 2050, but I hope they party.
An OG4 Loco.
Oh, thank you, past.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Ed's word of the day.
Let's see what his first word of the day is.
Good morning and a happy new year. Anyways, today's word is Bach. Or, I don't know, B-A-L-K, Bach, I guess. Anyways, it's to refuse abruptly or to stop short and refuse to proceed.
Oh, like baseball.
Kind of like when they're asking you if you want your bill at the end of the restaurant. That's what you feel like being. Anyways, have a great one. Cheers her up.
I don't know why my mind immediately went to chicken.
Yeah, bok, 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 bok. Well, I mean, it does make sense if you're refusing to proceed with something.
Oh, yeah.
It makes sense why we do make the bok bok noise.
That's true, yeah, because you are suddenly scared of that thing. Well, to use his example, it's always funny when someone's like, oh, hey, come on, let's go out, drinks are on me, and then the bill comes at the end of the day. All of a sudden they balk at the thought of like, whoa, that's a lot more than I was expecting, at which point you can all tell him.
I think you could even say, like, when you're at a stoplight and you see someone that should have turned on a left, and then they stay in the middle of the intersection.
They balked.
They balked too hard.
They balked in the middle of the intersection.
Or even better, when you want to say a joke and you realize it's the wrong audience. Maybe you had that happen over the holidays. You had to balk out a bit on a joke.
You balk hard when you realize, like, oh, no, this is going to go bad.
Sometimes it's better to balk than have that meeting with HR.
Absolutely. A balk is not usually a good thing, but it's still better than a crash.
Balk, balk, balk. Balk, balk, balk. Use it wherever you can, all right?
For more Brock and Dalby, tune in weekday mornings 5:30 to 9.
The Brock and Dalby podcast is brought to you by badshop.ca, the Brock and Dalby merch store, with all proceeds going to the Canadian Cancer Society.